Do you understand what you're charged with?
No, I don't quite understand those no, I don't. I don't plan to plea. I guess I'll answer in affirmative that Demers is not acquiesced to quasi-jury.
Right.
I'm Gordy. I'm not Mr. Cooley. I'm Gordy. I'm a man. I'm not a person. If you have any papers in front of you with my signature on them, it's because that is what was required for me to get away from my captors.
All right, guys, today we've got a completely unhinged sovereign citizen on our hands. This guy is actually claiming the police captured him like he's some kind of prisoner of war or something. And then in classic sovereign citizen fashion, he pulls the usual nonsense on the judge, insisting he's not subject to the law and that the court has no power over him. Sorry, buddy, but that's just not how it works. Sovereign citizens love to pretend they can just opt out of a legal system, but reality doesn't work that way now. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this guy? Do you think he's aware enough to realize how ridiculous he sounds, or is he just completely delusional? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's dive into this wild court session.
Are you Gordon Cooley? You'll need to unmute your screen, sir.
Yes, I am the man that is that person.
So you're Gordon Cooley?
Yep.
Very well. State appears by Jill Gillette, County Attorney. Mr. Cooley, there's been an amended complaint filed on, it looks like April 17th. You're charged with driving while suspended as a second offense as for on or about March the 25th of 2024 in Elk County, Kansas. If indeed you have a prior conviction where this would be a second offense, that's a Class A misdemeanor. A Class A misdemeanor is punishable up to 1 year in the county jail and a fine not to exceed $2,500. Additionally, with a second offense for driving while suspended, there's a mandatory 5-day minimum sentence. However, a person can be placed on probation from that, but there is mandatory sentence that would have to be imposed. Do you understand what you're charged with?
No, I don't quite understand those no, I don't.
What's your question in regards to what you're charged with?
Well, I think this is a matter of a mistaken identity. My persons was never involved in anything. I'm carrying my property from point A to point B. I have there's no vested interest of the state to even stop me. I'm exercising my God-given constitutionally protected rights, and I stated that to the man acting as the police officer. I didn't present him with a license.
You are charged, sir. Hold on. You're charged with driving while suspended, a second offense. That would indicate to me that you've had a first offense.
No.
Have you been in court before on this type of charge?
Nope, not on driving while suspended. No, I have not.
All right. Well, that is what you're charged with. You don't have to agree with it. You can certainly, that is an issue at trial if you feel you have a defense. As with the others that I've explained, you have certain rights. You are charged with a misdemeanor, so you are entitled to be represented by a counsel. And if you wish to apply for court-appointed counsel, if you meet the financial guidelines, I would appoint one to represent you. You also have the right to represent yourself. You also have the right to have counsel of your own choosing at your own expense. So at this time, if you wish to have a trial, if you wish to speak with an attorney or counsel, would he qualify under any programs you have since he's charged this as a second offense?
No.
All right. So apparently diversion wouldn't be an option for you. So if you're wishing to have a trial or to speak with an attorney, your plea at this time should be not guilty. If you wish to plead guilty, then we'd proceed to sentencing. But based upon what you're telling me, those would be issues that could be addressed at trial. So at this time, how do you wish to plead?
I don't plan to plea. I guess I'll answer in affirmative that Demers is not acquiesced to quasi-jury.
If you're not going to enter a formal plea, you're standing mute, and I will enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf.
Okay, I exercise my right to trial by jury then. I'd like to face the man or the woman that claims I've done them harm or loss.
Mr. Cooley, If you wish to have a trial by
I'm
jury,
Gordy. I'm not Mr. Cooley. I'm Gordy. I'm a man. I'm not a person.
all right. Mr.
But
Cooley,
can I ask you a
Mr.
question,
Cooley.
sir?
you need to be quiet for a moment. And I'm going to explain what the situation is.
Gordy has got to be one of the goofiest names I've ever heard. I mean, come on, Gordy. And now this guy is actually trying to claim identity fraud like the court is just going to fall for it. He's acting like some kind of mastermind pulling a fast one, but in reality, he's just digging his own grave. Let's talk about the law for a second. Lying in court, also known as perjury, is a serious crime. If you didn't know, perjury is when you knowingly make false statements under oath, and it's a felony. Depending on where you are, it can come with some pretty severe consequences, like up to 5 years in prison and hefty fines. On top of that, it can destroy your credibility in the legal system forever, and you'll definitely have a criminal record hanging over you. So while Gordy's out here making wild claims, all he's really doing is digging himself deeper into a hole. It's crazy that he actually thinks he can get away with this. What do you guys think about Gordy so far? And what are your thoughts on the judge? Let me know in the comments and let's dive back in.
You have the right to be represented by counsel. You've entered a plea, refusing to enter a plea, which is fine. A person can stand mute, and I will set this matter for trial. If you wish to be or have a jury trial, you have the right to do so. However, you need to do that in the proper form. With a misdemeanor offense, you have to file a written motion for that request. Otherwise, it's set before the court. So you would need to do that in a timely way. If you're going to represent yourself, you would have to follow the rules as though you're an attorney. So all of those things would, most people don't have the training to where if they're going to do a jury trial, they're better off being represented by counsel. But that's a choice that you're going to have to make.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Yes, you may.
Can there be a valid cause of action without an injured party?
Sir, that's not a valid question for what we're doing here today.
I've tried settling this matter in the private twice. If you have any papers in front of you with my signature on them, it's because that is what was required for me to get away from my captors.
Gordy, impoverished and now in custody. He committed a crime and now he has to face the consequences. But instead of owning up to it, he's playing the victim. Come on, Gordy, you did the crime, now do the time. It's only been 5 days and he's already acting like he's some kind of martyr. It's wild how so many sovereign citizens refuse to take responsibility for their actions. Instead of accepting the consequences, they blame everyone else, the police, the courts, the government, anyone but themselves. Honestly, it makes you wonder, is this the direction we're headed in? A society where people think the law doesn't apply to them? I swear, I see more and more of this every day, and it's getting ridiculous. Does anyone else notice this complete lack of accountability? Let me know in the comments.
I don't understand what a man thinks that he has the authority to take another man and throw them in a box when they have harmed no man or woman, no
Mr.
claim
Cooley,
has been brought
Mr. Cooley,
against them.
You need to be quiet now. We're going to give you a court date, and you can advise me how you're going to proceed at that court date. If you're going to apply for a jury trial, then you'll need to make that application by that time. Otherwise, you'll be set for a bench trial. That's before the court. Sarah, could you give us a date, please?
What sort of time frame would you like, Judge? 30 minutes?
Approximately 30 days, 30 minutes would be fine.
We can do May 15th at 2:30.
At
Judge,
2:30?
I'm out that afternoon. We could do 11:30 if there's nothing else scheduled there.
We put that for a trial and for an hour, didn't we? So
If you only need 30 minutes, we could do the 11 to 12.
well, we said something at 10:30, I believe, or was it the 10 o'clock that was set for trial?
It was the 10:30 to 11:30 that was set.
Okay, let's set this at 11:30 for a pretrial. So, Mr. Cooley, you will need to appear at the courthouse in Howard. And if you're going to file a motion for a jury trial, you need to have done so by that time. If you're going to hire an attorney, you need to do that. If you're going to apply for an attorney, I would suggest that you do that as soon as possible, so that you can have counsel at that time.
Am I going to be able to face the man or the woman that has a claim before me, or are you going to discharge the matter? If there's not a man or a woman here, then this matter needs to be discharged.
Sir, I've heard these arguments before, and those are not legal arguments. Somebody's made these things.
I'm not a member of the legal society.
Sir,
Can we bring the law to the court, please?
You've been-
Can we bring
you've
the
been-
law to the court?
Mr. Cooley, stop interrupting. At your hearing, if you have motions that you wish to have heard, you can file them in advance. I would strongly recommend you be represented by counsel. But your court appearance is May 15th at 11:30, and you are to be here in person.
I will invoke my common law rights.
It's hilarious that Gordy actually thinks he's the victim in this situation. I can't say for sure, but it really seems like he believes it. He's out here acting like a trial can't happen unless the victim is physically present, which is just not how the legal system works. It's crazy how sovereign citizens always try to argue that charges should be dropped just because the victim isn't in the courtroom. Like what? That's not how accountability works. I know this take might not be the most popular, but I'm genuinely curious to hear what you guys think now. I get that some people might use these tactics just to stall their case for a few days or a week, especially if they have no money and are just trying to buy time. But let's be real. It's stupid and a complete waste of taxpayer money. At the end of the day, I tend to agree with the judge on this one, so what do you guys think? Was Gordy actually delusional enough to believe his own nonsense, or was he just trying to manipulate the system? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video and want more content like it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, everyone.